Welcome everyone to another episode of the Warmup. I'm here with the fellas, but it's me. You got Chris Buckets in the building, one more chance, Reg, and then also have Kev RL in the building. Say what's up to the people who are tuning in this episode, guys.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us.
What's up?
Cool. And if this is your first time rocking with us, this is a place where we talk about sports, current events, and things in between through the lens of Black culture. Make sure you catch us every Wednesday on your favorite podcast platform. Also, you can catch us on YouTube for the video side of things. Spotify also holds it. Anchor also holds it, I believe. But yeah, any place that you feel comfortable with. And also, if you want to get the video, there's a few places to get the video. So feel free to do all that. Join the channel, go visit the channel, and subscribe if you like what you see. Tell a friend, get the notification bell so you can get the new notifications when we drop every Wednesday. Again, like I said, we do it every Wednesday, but you may get a little bit busy and you just need a little bit of a reminder. So let YouTube help you out. And again, if you do all that, all the things that we ask, and like I said, it helps the algorithm, helps people get more eyes on us, helps us give you more of what you want. So tell us if you have any things that you want us to hear, talk about, things like that, or things you want us to talk about. And also check us out on the IG and the Instagram, IG and Twitter. We're at _warmup_pod. Finally, check us out. We have a TikTok now, so we're being spied on by China at the.warmup.pod. And finally, we have a Reddit, Grindhouse NTWK. We also have a Discord, Grindhouse Network, which is a homegrown community for you to talk and discuss sports and unrelated sports topics in a safe space. So all those links are going to be in the description of the respective platform that you're in. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Anything else you guys want to add to it?
Oh man, you hit all them nuggets as per usual, man.
Sure. Awesome. All right, well, let's just jump right into this thing, man. The playoffs are 99% set. So I was just saying like that. We know all the people the big players. We know some of the little players too, and we're just gonna talk about the little players. Yeah, man, because everyone doesn't get the same amount of respect on their name when it comes down to making to the playoffs and how they're going to fare as far as this tournament that is called the playoffs, is to deem who's going to be the champion of this season. So yeah, the little players, right? So it doesn't matter if you're 1 or 8. Sometimes you get overlooked automatically because you don't have a big name or of those things. So we're gonna just talk about that first, right? So we're gonna talk about these players, these teams that get overlooked. So in this version, this 2022-2023 season, we're going to talk about these 4 teams here. I mean, maybe there's some other teams here. I'm sure there's plenty of teams that are getting overlooked, but they're getting overlooked so much that we're not even going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the ones that are getting overlooked. They probably should not get overlooked, right? So Kings, Nuggets, Grizzlies, man, are they actually being overlooked as an actual serious contender going into this playoffs? One more chance. Go for it.
Man, I'm gonna say absolutely. I feel like they're being overlooked just because Nuggets. This is the first time everybody's been healthy for a while. I think Porter's all right. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Jamal Murray's back, and Jokic, who's been holding the flag for them the past 2 seasons while they've been dealing with these injuries, he's there too. So they're playing really well. They're seeded number 1, and they don't seem to be the favorites coming out of the West. I don't know if it's just my perspective or if y'all agree with that. So that's a little bit surprising there. You also have the Memphis Grizzlies, who've had their own trials and tribulations. They've shown a lot of growth from last season. We've seen some outside behavior kind of take them away, and as per usual, they're dealing with some injuries, but they weathered this storm and they're still number 2 despite all that. So really strong chances for them. I don't know why people are not talking about them being favorites. And then we talk about Sacramento Kings having a phenomenal season. They haven't had a season like this in a while. The young core group's been working at it, but the addition of Sabonis seems to be working, and their new coach seems to be having a lot of success over there. But again, we don't hear the people are still talking about Warriors and Lakers and Suns and teams that haven't had. Well, I mean, obviously Golden State has had that success, but during this regular season haven't had the success these top 3 are. So that's surprising to me.
Okay, Kev, how do you feel? You feel the same way, or?
Let me ask you this: is respect given or is it earned?
Respect is given, and you actually earn it throughout the regular season. You earn it through the regular season.
I'm gonna go with Reg. I'm gonna say earned is earned. Yeah. And I don't know about you earn it through the regular season. To the regular season, you do what you do. But we've seen that playoffs is a totally different game. Matter of fact, we often say, let's separate the playoffs from the regular season, because we see these series sometimes between two teams and it's like, oh, this team beat them in the regular season series. And most times we just throw that out, man. We just throw it out because we know when it comes to the playoffs, yes, there may be an indication of how the matchups were and what was going on at that point in time. But at the end of the day, we know it's a different beast. So it's really what you've proven in the past, in the playoffs, that really demonstrate the respect you get when playoff time comes around. That's how I feel about it. So at the end of the day, these teams in which we just spoke about, they really haven't had that much playoff success to where all disrespect needs to be thrown their way. At the same time, that don't mean you be giving them any disrespect. I think right now they're being overshadowed because of who is in the bottom of the West and who they may be matching up against. Teams such as the Warriors, teams such as Lakers, and potentially, you know, the underdogs, OKC, SGA coming out. We don't know who's going to be there yet at the taping of this, but by the time this comes out, we probably know if it'll be New Orleans or OKC. Either way, that's going to be a tough matchup. And with all of that attention towards these bigger name teams, you know, sometimes the shadow goes broad, the shadow goes wide, and some people get covered in it. And I think Nuggets have shown to not be as successful in the playoffs. So we still waiting for them to really show that they can put everything together and make it work and make a long run. Grizzlies, we know their history. Yes, they've been great as of late. Yes, they were great last year too as well. They almost got knocked out by the Timberwolves though. Let's not forget that. It was a 6-game series, but
are we doing that?
It was a really tight series. It was a lot of collapse by Timberwolves, more so than the rising of Memphis. From what I saw, from my seat, Timberwolves dropped the ball. The first few quarters were like really good, but then when it came to like the last couple quarters, especially in the fourth, Timberwolves were a little shaky, and you know, Grizzlies took it away from them. And then they met up with the Warriors, and you know, we were already standing for that. So they've proven that they have some gumption. You know, they do have some heart, they have some skills, talent, all that, everything you need. They got the right ingredients to give you that hot gumbo. Now we just need to see it exercise itself in the playoffs. But one of the big reasons I think they're also being overlooked is because, you know, injuries. We've talked about it in pre-pod. You know, they don't have the big man Adams. They lost
Brandon
Clark.
Achilles.
And so, and even though they have Jared Jackson on the front line, we know he's foul prone. Mm-hmm. And in the playoffs, it's a higher intensity. People are going to be much more aggressive. So can he handle maintaining his defensive poise without fouling against the aggression that will be shown on the offensive end from other teams? Mm-hmm. You know, that's yet to be seen. At least we have seen it, and he hasn't. Yeah. So will he continue his trend of falling out? So that's going to leave y'all shorthanded on the front line. And, you know, if it's against the Lakers, that's going to be problematic with AD and LeBron down there. So there's reasons, you know what I mean? It's not like people are throwing out disrespect against these teams. I don't think I have to say much about that. I think we all know they're a young team. That's one. And also an inexperienced team. That's two. I love Sacramento Kings. I used to be, you know, back in the Mike Bibby, Chris Webber days. That was my team with the Cowbells. Really like that organization. But they've been off for a long time. So this is their comeback. And they're going to be playing against the champs, the defending champs, the Warriors. So again, this it's less about them and more about who their opposition is and what they have yet to proven to us in the playoff time.
Okay.
Yeah, strong points. I like the point that you're saying. It's almost like the brackets are kind of flipped. The teams that we usually expect to be seated higher are at the bottom of the barrel this time, where the teams that are usually seated lower at the top, and maybe that's why we're seeing that slight or that disrespect. But we've seen championship teams like Lakers have won the championship and the next year lost in the first round. So after having a battle out of the play-in, so you earned the respect last season, but last season was last season. So I do think there's still some overlooking happening. Sure, you can't just take regular season success as the only barometer, but you can't ignore the regular season either.
No, you can't. You can't.
Yeah.
So
the distance is not that much. I'm sorry to cut you off, Chris, but the West is very jumbled up. We look at Sacramento against Warriors. Warriors are such a bad team for most people's eyes and what they expect, but the Sac only have 4 more wins than the Warriors.
It is a
like count it on one hand. I could count it on one hand. 4 more wins.
And we will honestly say Warriors did not play as well as we expected. So for them to be only 4 wins behind the 3rd seed, so in that perspective, yeah. It's a tight race.
Okay.
Tight race.
So I do have a question on this earn versus given. What does it take for you to earn respect?
It's different for everybody, man. But that's why I asked a general question: is respect earned or given? Just from a general standpoint, and then to each his own on what boundary you need to cross to gain your respect. A lot of people say, not a lot, but D1 Draymond Green said, what tall man name on Utah? I don't know why his name is slipping me right now.
Rudy Gobert.
Gobert.
He said Gobert. He earned a little bit more respect from Draymond because of this situation. So it took a punching another teammate for Draymond to get to show some respect or have some more respect for Gobert. So
he also sent a shot with the tweet talking about something about your insecurities, which was a reference to when Gobert
basically
made that message towards him when he hit his teammates. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So basically, you're saying respect is earned, yet we don't really. It's arbitrary as to what is considered earned respect. Like how to cross that threshold, how to garner that respect.
To some degree, but there's some expectation of playoff advancement success, and the Nuggets haven't proven that.
They haven't
yet. I mean, they've been getting out first, second round. The furthest they got was when they got eliminated by the Lakers, and that was they were only in that because they had rallied a comeback. But they had this scrap and they barely made it. So I got some level of respect, and then multiple MVPs by Jokic, but it doesn't carry the same weight as people who made it to the mountaintop. The Warriors, the Lakers, those are the ones that or even the Suns, just because they already had some playoff success, not as much as we expected for them. But then you go ahead and throw a championship finals MVP KD. That's what gave it. I think if that didn't happen, their expectations would have been a little bit lower too.
That's facts.
So I think that's for me. I can see that as an argument.
So let me. Okay, that's fair. I mean, I just wanted to make sure I understood so I can know how to respond to this overlooking and disrespect angle, right? So in order to get respect, I do understand that you have to earn the respect for the most part, right? In order to beat the man, you gotta beat the man. Tons of quotes that says, all these things where, you have to fight your way to the top, right? So I get it. I'm looking at everyone who's potentially coming out the West, and there's only really 2 champions in the West who have made it to the end game. Like they won the championship. Warriors and the Lakers, right? Mm-hmm. None of these other teams have won that. And also Phoenix, I mean, if you really want to talk about, if you want to throw KD in the mix, they're not being overlooked. Some people actually are looking at the Phoenix Suns as Western Conference, at the very least, Western Conference finals or Western Conference
favorites. Yeah,
because of KD.
Yeah,
KD. Last time KD won, he was with the Warriors. He can't lead the team by himself.
But he doesn't have to. That's why the expectations.
But my point is that number one, their bench is weak, and I know we're not talking. The point is not to talk about the Phoenix Suns, but I'm just using it as an example of how teams are being overlooked that actually have shown growth and actually has made it to some type of some level of past the first round, second round, and they're not given the same amount of respect. as teams who probably have not had that same level of success as a team. Maybe as an individual, maybe they did, but even then, we can once you start to investigate and scrutinize their individual awards, accolades, they have not really been as successful with certain groups of people as they have without. So that's the reason why I brought up the Phoenix Suns. So are these teams being overlooked as serious contenders? Yes, this is the reason why I'm saying that. Number one, the Denver Nuggets, this is the first time they've been healthy in 3 years, right? The last time that they were fully healthy, they made it to the Western Conference Finals, and that was without Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon. So they've maintained, for the most part, their roster, their core team. They rebuilt around them, and they had some pretty good role players. You know, they lost Will Barton, but they have gained some other players and stuff as well. And they've been number one from the gate. They've never been even close to losing the second that number one position this year. So for a team that, as much as we talk about how, you know, how tight knit the Western Conference standings have been from 4 to 6 or 4 to 10 or whatever you want to call it, the two exceptions have always been the Nuggets and the Memphis Grizzlies. So I'll talk about the Memphis Grizzlies. Number one, I understand that, like, if someone wants to say because of the fact that they have injuries from the center, I'm totally with that. Like, that's not your team that you went in with, that you started with, that you were successful with. And I mean, they still maintain a pretty good NBA record without those two, without those two people, and even to some extent without Ja Morant. In fact, when they were losing, Ja Morant was on the floor, right? So
and without Dylan, a couple games due to suspension.
Yeah, which is a self-inflicted wound. Yeah, but you know, my thing is that every year since Ja Morant's been on this team, they have improved. They went from being out of the play-in to making it through the play-ins to getting number 2 seed last year to getting number 2 seed again this year. And you know, even last year they got past the first round. And you know, people want to say it's Minnesota gave them that or they failed. Well, guess what? It's 48-minute games. It doesn't matter what you do for 46 minutes. If you don't play 48 minutes and you lose for 48 minutes. I don't care. Okay. So, honestly, it was growing pains for both teams. It was the first time that they've really been in that kind of situation because they're all young. Neither one of them really had any playoff experience, and that was their first time learning and getting used to it. You know, the Warriors went through their growing pains by playing injured teams throughout the whole playoffs when they won their first championship. It is what it is, but.
And people do care about that though, so don't dismiss it like you don't talk about that.
No, it gets brought up. I brought it up to show that it does. Like, people have their own trials and tribulations and gauntlets and their growing pains. That's what I'm saying, right? So I'm not saying.
But I'm saying it's also brought up to discount the achievement they made the same way.
Yeah, so I wasn't saying it to discount it. I'm saying, hey,
but it is. I'm saying outside of what you're saying. I'm saying it is brought up to discount it. Not you doing it, but generally when people discuss it, they be like, "Oh yeah, everybody was injured. Yeah, that one was a give me.
Yeah. Or
it's not just Grizzlies, like especially being isolated and talked about in this way for that reason. I think is what we're trying to say. That is something that's brought up for any and all teams. Yes. It does matter. It does play a role.
I don't know if you remember the next 2 seasons after the Lakers won. There's like, oh, that was a bubble chip. See,
I agree. No, I agree.
It happens.
I agree, and I'm saying, like, that's fine, but let's understand that everyone has their growing pains. That was kind of the point of me saying that everyone has their growing pains.
To the occasion, yeah.
So, they've improved every year. And you know, they almost, if anyone's going to be close to getting the number 1 seed, it would have been them. They slipped just like Denver slipped, but they both slipped linearly, I guess. So yeah, that's what the Grizzlies. The Kings, best offense in the NBA. They don't play no defense, but they haven't played defense all season. They haven't played defense all season, and they're young, and they can run, and they can put buckets up on the board. So if you can't run with them, it doesn't matter how good your defense is. You can't keep up with them. It doesn't matter because they can put up points. So I would say that it's. I remember them And I remember teams trying to like really fight for this number 6 spot because they really wanted to go up against the Kings because they are banking on their inexperience and their novelty of being into the playoffs to try to, because they feel like that was an easy path to the next round.
That's media talk. Nobody is trying to do that. That's media talk. Because if you spoke to the Clippers, if Clippers really wanted that spot, they could have lose that game on Sunday.
Sure. So if anybody really could have, anybody who had the fate of actually making that happen was the Clippers, and they didn't. Everybody else needed to win. Lakers needed to win. Warriors needed to win.
Clippers needed to win to an extent too, because if
correct,
Clippers,
would have fallen down.
Yeah, so that was another reason they had to basically play. If they knew for sure, I don't believe any team is trying to lose to get a certain team. Sure. I don't think that really happens. I think that's just a talking point. But
regardless
of that win either way.
Yeah, regardless of if it was a media narrative or if it was something that was actually being spoken to around organizations, we will never know because no one's going to ever say, yeah, we're trying to tank.
Admit it.
Yeah, no one's going to ever openly admit that, and that's fine. That's what it is. We know tanking exists, and in different aspects and in different views. So, I understand that the Sacramento Kings are new to the game. Like, new player has arrived, and everyone wants to be like, that's the way. That's the weak link in this gauntlet. That's the West. Because I don't think anyone can say for sure who's making it past, making it to the Western Conference Finals. So, I do think they're being overlooked, and part of that is because a lot of the old guard is in the lower seeds. If it was, not the Lakers, not the Warriors, if it was the Pelicans, OKC, and Portland Blazers, I think it would be easy. I think it'd be easy. Way more predictable, right? But it's not. It's LeBron is number 7 seed, and the 8 seed, it doesn't even matter. Or we don't even know yet, right? Because this stuff is like in progress right now. But let's say Lakers make it and get past the T-Wolves. They're the number 7 seed, and then after that, it's either the T-Wolves or the OKC, which is a really good team, even though the record doesn't show it, or the Pelicans, who also is a very feisty team, even though the record doesn't show it. Yeah. So those teams are not walkovers. So they could probably easily get 1 or 2 games depending on who they match up with, because everyone's familiar with each other and all that. But I would not be surprised if any one of these 7, 8 teams, depending on how things fall and how the matchups match up, anyone can win. Warriors can win.
Right.
So
that's why people are leaning on, like, if anybody can win, those outliers, the people who've given their circumstances have found a way to win. That's why people are leaning towards those favorites, even though we're seeded. They're like, well, you've done it before, so you've had that championship DNA. You've had what it takes. I think that's what people are leaning on. And then also the point you made with the Sacramento Kings, number 1 offense, that's great in a regular season, but I'm looking up and down 1 through 10. Everybody could put up numbers. Everybody could score. Some people are going to be more efficient than others, but it's going to come down to defense. You're going to have to play some defense at some point. If they can't make that work in the playoffs, and those other teams, the game's a little bit more physical. If those other teams are playing physical, hard-nosed defense, and you just relying all on offense, and we were just talking about it earlier, sometimes those shots just don't fall, right?
Who won the most number of games during a regular season?
What you mean?
Some of the number 1 seed, is what you're saying?
Which team has won the most number of games in a regular season?
Oh, you're talking about the Warriors. You're talking about that.
73-1 game season, and they lost. So, like, we understand that you could be balling, and they weren't just balling. They have the record. They have the record for winning the most. Yeah, I'm talking about 9 games you lost, man. Like, you played 82 games and you only lost 9. I'm just saying. So it matters. It matters, but I'm just trying to bring up the point that, yes, we can look at regular season, but we can also look at regular seasons where people haven't really made it happen. And that's just a very extreme outlier to the whole situation to say, hey, here's someone that had the record and they still didn't make it. So it speaks to the fact that you still got to show up in multiple aspects of the game and can't rely on just one dimension. You can't just rely on defense. You can't just rely on high octane offense. You kind of got to bring the whole package because day in, day out, it's a matchup at the end of the day. Coaches are making adjustments. You're not flying around. You're flying around, but you're not switching teams here and there. So it's a chess match, and it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Playing one team for seven game series is a little bit different.
Yeah. But they made it to the finals, so I mean they went. Yeah. They basically went.
Yeah, they made it far.
They basically went through the rest. Like I think they only lost 2 games in one series. Like everything else has been either a sweep or a gentleman's sweep.
Yeah, but to Kev's point, you're playing different teams. You're not typically playing the same team back to back. So that's when it starts becoming, how can you adjust?
I understand.
And that point is also is very complex.
Yeah.
That we're here trying to just choose based on some aspect, but there's many different ways you can look at it. And at the end of the day, someone asks you, hey, who'd you rather play against? Denver, Memphis, or Sac? Like, who would you choose?
Yeah, Sac easy.
I'm just asking you, who would you choose?
Who would I choose? To be honest,
you gotta choose one. You gotta choose one. Who would you choose?
Okay, so let me see. If I was the Lakers, let's just say hypothetically, if I was the Lakers, I would probably want to pick Denver. The reason I want to pick Denver is because they're around the same kind of like age. Like I said, Sacramento runs. That would be the only thing I'm worried about. And because Lakers have older players on the team, I don't know if you would want to put them in that kind of stress situation. I get it.
They're not making that choice though.
I understand that, but you asked me if I was to pick a team, I think it would be dependent on what my team was. Yeah, my skill set was.
But that's hard, right? Because you don't have a team. So I'm just asking you off of just you being you. Who would you want to go against?
You were playing pickup ball right now, and you had to play the Nuggets, the Grizzlies, and the Kings.
It don't matter. It don't matter. We're losing. It don't matter. We're losing. It don't matter. We're losing either way. It doesn't matter. We're losing.
That's the same energy you have for the Grizzlies right now.
That's the same energy, man. I'm just gonna say, you know, we're being all PC, all politically correct. Ain't want to lead one way or the other, stand in the middle of the line. Man, choose a side. Pick a side.
Oh my gosh. I mean, if anything, it'll be, I'd say it'll be Memphis. I can go back home. Denver, because I ain't never been there before. Oh, so I mean, it's gonna be different. I mean, I gotta have a factor of picking one versus the other. I mean, like I said,
NBA, man. All these teams are good. All these teams are good teams. All these teams are good teams. So to me, I don't feel like anyone is truly being disrespected or truly being overlooked. I just really think that some people have more confidence in others because of what they've seen than others. I just think it's a more confident thing as opposed to I lack confidence in you. You know what I mean? I just have more in this other person, this other guy here, and we see how it play out. Because that don't mean it's gonna happen that way, but you gotta pick something.
Gotcha.
You gotta pick something.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see, man. Like I said, the way that this thing is formulating right now, unless something happens drastically in the second half, the Lakers maybe fall into the 8th spot. But that's okay. We'll see. Maybe they're tanking. We'll see.
They still got one more chance.
So
I guess they heard you, man. They heard you, Denver.
So, hey, you know, it may work out for them. Like no one wants to. I would not want to play the younger teams being an older team. That's just kind of how I feel. But you know,
even though you're the Warriors. Because they got a lot of young. I'm just saying because the bench is pretty young.
Their bench is young. But I don't think Steph and Clay and Dre's showing his age, but because he's a way more of a physical type player, so it's going to wear on him more. I don't think Steph and Clay they've gotten to the age where it's slowing down their productivity. I don't think they're not really to want they don't. I think they're okay with running still. So a part of that is just kind of keeping up with the pace of your other team as well. And I mean, if y'all get Wiggins back, which is the rumor, right? He's still young. Let him guard the number 1 guy.
Yeah,
I mean, he's taking that anyway.
Yeah, but he's taking that over from Clay. He's playing more defense.
Yeah, which is fine. Like I think that's the correct strategy. But that's the reason why for younger teams it doesn't bother them so much as a 38-year-old LeBron and a injured, riddled Anthony Davis. Like Anthony Davis, bro. We you still out here got the over under on if he's gonna get injured in 2 more games and not
LeBron's still taking off defensive plays when he didn't get the call he wanted.
Exactly right.
Yeah, he can do that sometimes.
So
hey, if they get the rebound, it's a cherry pick.
So yeah, I mean the Warriors is not that. I don't think it's that much of a negative impact, but yeah, with Lakers definitely they're a really old team. So but I would say that I don't think that the Warriors want to play the Denver Nuggets.
I wouldn't want to play the Denver Nuggets necessarily.
Yeah, size is hard for them.
So that's just, and if they're playing at home and if everyone's healthy, Denver is a really good team. That'll be a tough matchup. I think if you was to rank them of 1, 2, and 3, who the Warriors should probably want to play, one should be probably Sacramento or Memphis, because injuries, and also they can keep up with some of those younger legs. And then, so like those are 1 and 2, and number 3 is gonna be the Nuggets. I don't think anybody wants to see the Nuggets, or the Warriors do not want to see the Nuggets. Like that's when they're healthy.
Size is gonna be a problem.
So,
especially if they're not hitting their shots,
and they're veterans on that team. Like those players been around for a while. I mean, the bench is gonna become really hard to maintain, if in my opinion. But yeah,
I can see that.
Mm-hmm. But we can see, man. So we talked about the most overlooked. So now who has the most pressure? We're gonna flip this a little bit, man. Who has the most pressure, man? We have KD and the Suns, and we have the LeBron and the Lakers. I mean, they both are, probably past their prime. But some people say that KD is still the best player in the NBA right now. Some people say LeBron. I don't know. But the Suns, the Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Now you have Kevin Durant. You have no excuses now. And then LeBron is like, you wanted some new players. You got rid of Russell Westbrook. I don't know if he got rid of him, but people say he's a manager, or he does those things. And then you too. You got D'Lo. You got Rui Hachimura. You got Mo Bamba. You got a young team now, and they've had the second best record since the All-Star break. Mm-hmm. So no excuses from either team. Which one has the most pressure to succeed? Kev, I know you're a LeBron fan. I'll let you go ahead and kick it off.
All right, I'm gonna drop it like this first and foremost. I'm gonna go outside the box. I'm gonna come back in the box, but I'm gonna go outside the box for 2 seconds. Since Denver actually has the most pressure, I'm not talking about externally. I'm talking about internally. This team, we talked about their shortcomings, but they've been in the conversation. They've been in the playoffs. They had that 1-round exit last year, but they also made it pretty far in the finals a couple years ago. And then in the second round, the year before that, or the year after that. So they've constantly been at the door trying to get things right. Made a couple moves when they got Aaron Gordon. They were without Murray. Now they have Murray. Everybody's healthy, like we keep saying. Mm-hmm. This is the time to strike. This is the time for them to strike. There's nothing that's a problem right now. Nothing they can point to and say, well, we didn't have this and we don't have that. You've put together the team that has gotten you the number 1 seed, and you've been present in the playoffs for several years, more recent years, and you've gotten deep within the Western Conference playoffs for one of those years. So you got to knock the door down right now and make your presence known that we're nothing to mess with, we're nothing to play with. So internally, I think there's a lot of pressure for them. The outside may be overlooking them, but internally, I think they got a lot of pressure. Now, from the outside perspective, going back into the box between the Lakers and Phoenix, I think the Lakers had a very poor start to the season, and 2-10. And I think this, don't quote me on this, but I want to say that they making it to the playoffs. I think they're the first team to have such a bad start and either have made it to the playoffs or have ended with a winning record. And I want to say ended with a winning record. Mm-hmm. And compliments to the moves during trade time, but that's also not that far away. This team have had limited time to mesh, limited time to get the chemistry going. Even with the trades, all the units didn't really get a chance to play together that often. D'Lo went up with an injury. We had Mamba out with the ankle, and things. And then LeBron himself was out as well for a while. So the whole and AD. So the whole new team that they brought together still didn't have a lot of minutes under their belt, a lot of playing time under their belt. So I don't hold them to a high of a standard, and I think people are taking that into consideration as well. That hey, they got a winning record. Did you know that was gonna happen? Nah, we didn't even know that was gonna happen. They here fighting to be in the playoffs right now. We didn't think that was gonna happen. So I think it's a little bit less pressure on them than for the Phoenix, who instantly overnight became the number one pick, the number one pick for taking the West. That was just what Vegas said. Like that night they got the trade, Woj came out with that news. The next day, you look at the spread or whatever you call it, and they were right up there, number one, taking the West. Mm-hmm. And with the addition of KD, yes, you lost some depth. Yes, you lost some defensive prowess. But you've gained one of the most potent offensive players, and he's pretty good on defense when he chooses to play. And I think he wants to play. He's a baller. And you got D-Book and an experienced Chris Paul, who hopefully stays healthy. A lot of pressure on them from the outside looking in. I don't know if they're giving themselves as much pressure as everybody else, but I think they definitely have the crunch time mode playing as well. But they also have the issue of not having as much play time under their belt. Mm-hmm. So you could go either way with it, but I'm gonna go with Phoenix.
Okay. Phoenix has the most pressure. Okay, what you think about Romo?
Romo. Hey, I really like that. Was a great assessment. I can't disagree too much. The outside point of going for the Nuggets. This squad's been together for a minute. I can't imagine realistically what other moves. If this squad can't get it done, I can't imagine what little pieces, what little adjustments they can make. Like they have a pretty solid roster. So if they can't get it done with what they got, given the landscape and the home seating, I agree. Like there's a lot of pressure there. Like where do you go from there if this doesn't work out? That's a big question mark there. Going back into the points that you discussed as well between the Suns and the Lakers, like you said, Suns overnight became a favorite. We saw the same thing with Brooklyn. KD's just that highly regarded, and this is a Suns team that they went to the Western Conference Finals and got defeated by the Lakers, who went on to win the whole thing. So
wait,
no, I'm tripping. They went to the finals and lost to the
Bucks.
Yeah, my bad. So they went to the finals before. So now that same squad is giving up some bench, but you're getting KD. There's no reason they should be able to win it all. So I think there's a high expectation there. Lakers, I'm gonna be honest. Last season they didn't make it to the play-ins. Right? And then they started off 2-10. Like I was pulling for them, hoping they can at least make the playoffs this season. But after that 2-10 start, it just becoming like watching the meltdown. How bad can it get? Russ was still getting clowned out the building. They tried to do moves they couldn't find. They were trying to trade players, couldn't trade players. Like it just didn't seem like it was gonna come together. People started getting injured. Anytime it was like, all right, they finally won a game or two, this person's injured, or they just started slacking, or AD wasn't being aggressive. So I think expectations there were, reset. So like you said, at this point, it's just like they're playing with house money. It's like, oh, the Lakers in. It's LeBron. He has the shot. Are we like, oh, they're gonna win? I don't think that expectation's been there for a little bit. That it's automatic for LeBron anymore. It used to be a year in and a year out, he's going to the final. Mm-hmm. Now it's like, is he going to even make the playoffs? So I'll agree with the assessment. Number one expectation in my mind, Phoenix Suns, if we're just talking about those teams, but also a lot of internal pressure probably on the Nuggets because it's been this system, this coach, this roster for a minute. They're as healthy as they've ever been. Jokic is still in the running of the MVP, so I think it's do or die for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Actually, you know what? I didn't even think about the Nuggets until you guys mentioned them. That's probably because of the fact that I don't think there's much pressure on them because no one's paying attention to them. Meaning, like I said, they're overlooked. Mm-hmm. So because they're overlooked, there's no one who's putting those expectations on you and all that stuff. But if you look at it as far as tenure and health and all those things, yeah, I think you guys are correct on that. I do think that the Nuggets, if this version of the Nuggets don't make it deep, then you have to heavily reinvest and restructure and re-strategize your plan for next year, in which I think it may be a good idea, because you can always say, hey, Dame Lillard needs to find a new home. I can get rid of one of these guys, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, or both. I can maintain Jamal Murray. If I can maintain Jamal Murray and Jokic, and I can get a Dame Lillard, I think I'll be happy with that trade. Check it up a little bit. Or Trae Young is on the trade block. Like, he's not out of the context of discussion for trades and things like that. Get you someone who can just, be a good 1-2-3 punch, be a third option to Jokic and Jamal, or maybe Jamal's a third option. Those are good third options. So I understand, like, the Nuggets are probably, the Nuggets should probably make it the furthest, considering that they're healthy and they've been there before, and they've, for the most part, and they had the number one seed. That should be the easiest track. But I also understand that if things happen and they fall short, if they don't make it to the Western Conference Finals, I think people will start to write them off as if people were paying attention to them and set expectations, that would be what the expectations should be, which is Western Conference Finals. Now, like I said, they've been overlooked, so maybe they could get by without it because no one ever had belief in them in the first place. So that's also another way to look at it.
Internally, though, which been management.
Yes, they will want to go further. I agree.
We got to change the roadmap.
Yeah. Unless you're like the Clippers of old, and they don't care because they still making money. So they didn't care about advancing nowhere. In fact, when they got some talent, they were like, "Get them out of here. We don't want that. We don't do that around here." So yeah. So I mean, that would be the kind of one of the things I would say. I do like that assessment about the Denver Nuggets. However, we're talking about the KD/Suns and the Lakers, and all those points that you guys made were true, as far as, like, at least I agree with, that came with respects to, like, injuries and will they, won't they, the mid-season shakeup and all that stuff. If you go back and reflect on it, I think the Lakers they won the trade deadline. They were probably the most impactful for immediate results, and it helped elevate them to almost as good as fifth place, but they fell short to seventh, right? I mean, and they lost some games that they probably should have won, and also LeBron was injured. There was a lot of stuff going on, right? So I get it. However, you do have LeBron James. You are healthy now for the most part, like 90% healthy now. I don't know if LeBron's foot is still aching him. It was aching, and then he said he went to the LeBron James of foot doctors, and he said, "No, you've been healed," and now he's healed. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. But the Lakers, it's going to be tough for them because of the fact that they have young players, they still have the gel, and they're going against people who've been together for a long time. Similarly to the KD and the Suns trade, like, KD came over there. First home game, rolled his ankle. He's out for another 10 games or however many games, right? So they were kind of treading water until he came back, and I think they've been undefeated when he's on the court.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't recall who all they play. I had to go back and look and see what that looked like and stuff like that. But to me, the most pressure would be on them, and the reason I would say that is because of the individuals, not Devin Booker so much. Devin Booker is I think we know who he is. Like, he's a scorer. He's that's all he wants to do. He scores. If you get anything more from him, and he's not even scoring like, I'm putting up 50 points a night, or these crazy Luka numbers. Like, I think there's people who score better than, they're more efficient at scoring than he is. But he's a good scorer. Like, there's nothing to take away from that.
He's not the best scorer, but he's a good scorer. Yeah.
Exactly. And so you have that. You do have KD, obviously. Like, he can score 40 on any given night if he really tried. I don't think he tries when he scores. He's just like going through the motions for the most part. The issue that I have with the reason why I say that they have the most pressure is because, number one, KD asked for this trade. He asked for this trade and to explicitly go to particular teams. Phoenix being one of them. He got his wish. Now do something with it, right? It's like saying, it's like if a person makes all these demands to move these mountains for you, and you do it. Now you expect, okay, I did all this. I gave you the money. I gave you what you asked for. I need to see the results, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think because of the fact that he got there, because he asked for a trade, he kind of forced his way out, and on top of that, because the only time he's actually went anywhere of any significance was with the Warriors. So as a maybe
bus driver talk.
Huh?
All that bus driver talk.
Yeah.
Like
All that.
Driver the bus at OKC, it didn't work out.
Yeah. So I was just gonna say the legacy thing, but that's also true too. Like the whole legacy thing, it may not matter to most people. It may matter to some, but I think people who are going to criticize or scrutinize Kevin Durant's gonna be like, well, you only won because you was with the best backcourt in all of NBA history as far as shooting is involved. And they had already won without you. They won after you at this point now. So what value add did you really have as far as like would your presence have derailed their success if you was absent? And so I mean, people are gonna have that kind of conversation, and also his ventures with Brooklyn and all that stuff. So I think that there's gonna be pressure on KD specifically. I think there's pressure on Chris Paul because he's getting old, and there's only so many times you go back to the yeah. Well, he's still playing, so and he's injury prone. Playoffs love to go back.
Playoff injury players, yeah.
So he loves the injury bug loves him in playoffs time. So if he's on borrowed time as far as like having those chances, the doors closing. So they have to win now in order for their narrative to change as far as like their legacy and all that stuff. I don't think it really matters. Like, he's still gonna be called point guard. KD's gonna be the best scorer of all time as far as getting easy Hall of Fame. So it's not like it's going to make or break whether that's gonna happen. They're both gonna be first ballot Hall of Famers and all that stuff. But when people go back and look at this team and say, oh yeah, KD and Chris Paul, one of the best teams that never made it to the finals. Also, KD, Harden, and Kyrie, another one of the best teams that never made it to, after the second round, right? So, it becomes a story that people start to like build around you. So I think they need to make some noise. I think if they make it to the Western Conference Finals and like lose to like in like a game 6, game 7, I think that's fine. I think they'll be okay. But you can't lose to the Clippers, and you can't lose in the second round.
Especially after that first round exit versus the Celtics last year.
Yeah,
you can't go out like that.
Yeah, so you can't do that. So yeah, I think those are the two most pressure. Those two teams have the most pressure. I do like the Denver Nuggets as a write-in vote.
Not a slight to the Celtics, but it was a sweep. That was the part that stung. They got swept.
Man, game 4 they did not want to play. Kyrie came in like, bro.
They tapped out.
Work on a Sunday. That's what it looked like, bro. So yeah. So I mean, anything else y'all want to add on this, or?
I just want to set the record straight. I was the one the only one ringing the alarm on the plug and play ability of Kevin Durant. And man, he gets in that roster and it looked like he was there all season, making passes to certain teammates. Yeah. Like, you would think they built that synergy already, and making baskets when they need to. It's not with the Luka Kyrie thing where it's just like who should get the ball. It just seems like it's flowing with them.
Yeah. So, they also have a point guard.
yeah.
And they also have a good coach too, man. I think Monty Williams he got coach of the year that 1 year, right? And then the year in the bubble, someone said he should have got it again. But Monty Williams been pretty good.
Kid not the worst coach, and people say Luka can pass. He just chooses not to.
He can pass, man. The last time we talked about it, Chris was making it seem like he just be passing on the last option. But ever since that conversation, my scrutiny has just heightened. Not because I'm trying to make it happen, but Chris activated some options to be like, is that really the case? And I'm just seeing Luka doing some crazy passes. I mean, like highly skilled passes that whether or not they come down to crunch time, just the difficulty in the passes that he make has shown his skill set and ability to pass and knowing when to pass as well. when the defense is completely imbalanced and has been sucked in. So it's been great. So since that conversation, I've been seeing some excellent passes from this guy. It's totally changed my perspective on his passing ability.
He's a great passer.
He started passing, they started losing.
I mean, when they're not making the assists need two people, man. The assists is one of those things that you need two people to make it happen. And sometimes it's just off. Sometimes the team just not dropping the buckets, man.
Yeah. True. I mean, Luka can pass. I don't think he's a playmaker from a standpoint of getting the offense started. He's the offense. He's starting it. And he's finishing it. So I mean,
check it out.
That's what it was.
Take that same energy and watch a few games.
I watched him.
I bet you change your mind.
I watched him all the time. Like, dude, dribble. He'll get in. He'll penetrate the paint. He'll make a great pass from like baseline to the other baseline behind the backboard and all that. So he makes really good passes. But guess what? No one else is moving but Luka, and that's the only way that he's able to make these passes because no one else is moving, and whose offense is that? Has to, huh?
Whose offense is that? Because the coach have to tell you what to like how we gonna choose to move, right? Because at the end of the day, if that was happening in the Warriors, eventually Curry can call a timeout and be like, yo, y'all can't be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Curry just can't be dribbling and we need to have some slashes, we need to see some pick and roll activity, So it's like who's controlling that?
Okay. And based on the makeup of their skill sets of the team players that he has, and also Luka's not a screen runner. Like, he's not running off of screens and doing all that stuff. Guess what? Luka sits at the top of the key or at the bottom of the key and post up. Like, the dude is not mobile. I get what you're saying with the Warriors. Steph Curry is going to run. Klay Thompson's going to run.
Also, that team lacks leadership. I'm going to just say that.
That too. And I pointed out the whole thing with Kristaps Porzingis. Yo, you had a good player before, and he didn't want to be there no more because he was being overlooked because Luka wants to dribble, and shoot.
Yeah.
Like, no one wants to play like that. So, I mean, Luka just doesn't make his team better at the end of the day. But he can pass. He can shoot. He's a great scorer. I don't know his defense. His defense is But, fine. You can get triple doubles because you can score, you can rebound, you can pass. You're really good at passing, but you're not good at setting your team up and being a great point guard. He should really be more of a shooting guard than a point guard. But
I ain't know he was a point guard at the beginning. I ain't gonna lie. I definitely thought he was a shooting guard. I thought I did when somebody was a point. I didn't know he was on the point.
Yeah, nah, he's always been point guard, dude. So that even says a lot more right there. You didn't even know to do.
It's like a Harden-esque version of point guarding.
Pretty much.
It is.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So, but yeah, man, Luka, man. We'll see where they go next year because that was a big collapsal failure. So
massive.
So
I know Kurt was trying to call it like one game in, but hindsight, damn, they just kept sliding.
Yeah. So
number 5 all the way down.
That was tough.
If it was tough.
Yeah. Cool. I forgot about the East, but anything y'all want to say about the East, the pressure to succeed? Who's out there? Who got the most pressure? All of them? A little bit?
76ers, Celtics to me. Those are the two
Those are the top 2, yeah.
Yeah.
76ers.
Celtics had the little squad for a minute. They've made continuous improvements. I ain't even want to see it one of these seasons, but Smart stepped up as a point guard. Jason Tatum don't got to make those turnovers no more. Jaylen Brown is doing his thing. He's a little super consistent most of the time. Their bigs are there. It's a complete team. When it comes to the 76ers, they've been at it for a while. And you blame the blame game has been happening for a couple seasons. MVP talk. Why isn't this guy MVP? Like a lot of conversations around that team. So I feel like if it don't happen this year, you might have to start talking about what's the future looking, because Doc hasn't proven himself since the Celtics. Embiid's been processing for a minute. They blamed everything on Simmons. Harden's the winner out here. Like he's not hitting his scoring days, but like Kev would like to say, he's found a role on this team that makes it complete. Their role players are still doing the thing, but if they don't get it now, like what else can they do? what other big moves? You done shook all the trees. You done made look for the coins under the sofa. You done figured everything out that you gonna figure out at this point.
Yeah.
So
I'll put Bucks in that mix too as well, but at a lesser extent.
Yeah, but they found that success. Everybody's healthy now, so we expect it. Even if they don't, like, we were counting them out. We were like, yo, Giannis needs somewhere. We were saying the coach gotta go, and here they go, like off to the races. So.
And number one right now in FanDuel as the odds of winning the whole thing. It goes the Bucks first, and then the Celtics, and then
the Suns.
Surprisingly, I think Golden State somewhere in that mix. I can't remember where they ranked that. Oh, Phoenix and then Golden State.
Yeah.
So those are your top teams right there. Bucks, Celtics, Phoenix, Golden State, and then last in the top 5, 76ers.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
A lack of Bucks success. If they don't at least go to the Eastern Conference Finals, I would be surprised, because they playing up to his expectation. It's not even like they're being overlooked. Everybody's looking at them like, yo, you're on the track.
Yeah, fast track.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think they even have much pressure. They already won.
Mm-hmm.
They've been, the number one seed.
Giannis
has the pressure. In terms of, you want to be that guy to have multiple.
Giannis multiple is hyper competitive, so he's supposed to feel that way.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
he feels the pressure every game. It's like, man, he's just out there pressurized. He's just ready to go.
And he's been relatively healthy throughout his career. So, when you're that athletic as your skill set, I think your window's a little bit smaller, because I don't think he has that other skill set to lean on to be like, oh, my game's gonna be more jumpers or whatever the case is. So I think that kind of pressure, if he's gonna be a multi-champion, this season's one of those that he needs to go ahead and get it done on.
Yeah. So I mean, I think if you once you start talking about like certain levels of legendary, then sure, like he has to be multiple champion. He has to be a multi-champion. But I don't know if that's what no one is potent. Like, he didn't say it like, I'm going to be legendary, or I'm like the greatest player of all time, and kind of put it on himself. I don't think anyone else is putting it on him either. So
I think he's already a Hall of Famer too.
Yeah, definitely Hall of Fame. But not like top tier 1 Hall of Fame. But definitely no ballot. I mean, no ballot. First ballot. You don't need no ballot. Just go ahead.
Just go ahead and watch.
Yeah, no. But no, I don't really see them having much pressure, because I think the expectation is that they have a fast track. I think it'd be really disappointed. They had the biggest disappointment if they lose in the first round. I think that's probably fair to say.
Oh, come on.
That would be like, what happened?
Yeah.
Come on.
But as far as most pressure, because it's pressure to succeed now, I would say it's probably the Philadelphia 76ers, because you got Doc Rivers, who's always been in the hot seat and always finds ways to lose in the playoffs. You have Embiid, supposed to be MVP season. Still can't make it past number 3 in the standings, but people got a lot on riding on him. And so
you like that number 3 seed,
bro. He loves number 3.
He loves talking about that.
He loves number 3, bro. He loves number 3. And I mean, it's not that he's playing bad. He is playing better. I agree with you guys. It's just okay. That's great. How does that translate into wins?
Yeah.
And last year he got hit in the face. He broke his little orbital bone or something like that,
and the ligament in the thumb. He has a penchant of getting injured late in the season.
So I mean, so when things get tough, it gets really physical. He breaks down, or not. I don't want to say breaks down. Just things don't fall in his favor. So what's going to happen now? Like you said, you've made every excuse in the book. You blame Ben Simmons. You blame Doc Rivers. You blame James Harden for being fat. You blame Tyrese Maxey for not being healthy. You blame Embiid a little bit for him getting injured in the Toronto series. What's your excuse now? Yeah. So you got to do something. And if you don't do anything this year, I think they won't get rid of Embiid, but they may get rid of Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
They may get rid of, may start to reduce Harden's role or find someone. They may get rid of Tobias Harris. They overpay him.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're gonna do, but like I said, that's to me seems more like a ticking time bomb than if the Celtics, I mean, Celtics, I think they'll be fine too. They should make it to at least the semifinals. They should make it to the conference finals as well and play against the Milwaukee Bucks. But let's just say they don't. Then, would you look at the coach? That's the only thing, the major thing that changed is the coach, right?
Yeah.
So get rid of him. Go get Emil Udoka back.
You can't get rid of him. I mean, you can, but this is his first year. So I mean, would you give him a pass? Is the question.
And then they're doing pretty well given the circumstances. I don't feel like the coaching's been bad, but if they did backslide, I could see people pointing to the coaching.
Yeah. So I mean, other than that, like unless you're gonna build a team up, I don't think they're gonna build a team up. And they already made it to the finals last year, so it's not like
but they want to win though. That's the problem. That last year was fell short. So the idea is to get back there and get further. And I heard Rondo say today, you know, what I mean, that's Beantown. Like every year they want to win a championship. Yeah. Every year the expectation is to win a championship, and disappointment is high in that city.
Yeah, and it's been a long road back to the Eastern Conference Finals since they lost to LeBron. So, you know, they want to keep building. They've been building since then. It took them a while to get back. So I think they want to keep that level of success as the benchmark. Yeah, I just can't even imagine. I'm thinking about the 76ers when you're talking about Tobias Harris. If they would have kept Jimmy Butler, like what would that team be like? I think the problem with 76ers are another thing outside of like the coach and everything that we mentioned is, well, I don't know if Embiid makes other people's better. Like when we talk about MVP, like we look at his individual numbers. When you look at Jokic, we're talking about, man, look at these crisp passes. Like on top of putting up the numbers that Embiid is doing, his passing is just phenomenal in his basketball IQ, where Embiid is just like a beast in the paint. So how is Embiid making other people better is the other question mark there, deficit that they're gonna have to figure out.
Yeah. So yeah, I forgot about the East, man. You know, no one's. I think the East is pretty more predictable. So less storylines, unless you wanna.
It can go either way. Spider Mitch can make it. Knicks, everybody got a puncher's chance, but there's definitely favorites for sure.
Yeah, big up to the Cavs. I called it at the beginning of the season. Told y'all they're gonna be the number 4 seed.
Yeah.
So said, so done. Nostradamus in the building. Y'all look at me crazy. Y'all like, nah. I love that. I love that energy.
Wait, what was it? What was it again?
But I don't think we had him that far before though.
Who?
Cavs. He called Cavs to be
first. Yeah, I guess.
When D Mitch got traded, I was like, all right, 4 seed.
I think people, at least it was me. I think I was more intrigued by the fact that he's going to Cleveland and their team ain't never been successful without LeBron. So I was like, I don't know.
That's not true. They were building some success there when they had Jared Allen and the rest of the team that was the core.
Oh, I mean, it depends on what you define success. They was
getting like 7-8 spot.
Congratulations, you made it to 8.
But the superstar, who was the superstar on that team though?
Kevin Love.
Oh, come on, man. That been his time to go. Even when he was they were just reducing his minutes slowly over time.
Yes, they were.
They had Sexton too, man.
Yeah, that was.
But he was injured.
He's not a superstar, but that Sexton was that other guy.
But he was injured for that.
He's doing well where he's at. He's at Jazz, right?
He was doing good in Jazz, yeah.
Yeah.
So they had a young core, but like I said, man, I don't think people
they got that superstar and that took him brought him to the conversation.
Okay. They went now they 4th and now they puncher's chance. It went from no chance to puncher's chance.
There you go.
Good job, guys. So
hey, want that puncher's chance. A lot of teams that went off the punches. The Miami Heat was this close off the puncher's chance.
Hey. According to Stephen A. Smith, they can't lose. The Knicks cannot lose to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, you know.
I know, I heard him. I was like, okay.
What do you mean can't?
Because Donovan Mitchell had a chance. They had a chance to make a run for him, the Knicks. And so now he feeling salty. Like the ones that you guys let get away, you can't let them beat you.
Yep. I'm not mad at the picks they got. Like, I think they would have been good either way, but I'm not mad at what they've been doing with Josh Hart and Brunson. Those additions seem to take them from, keep losing games to falling to 7th, 8th seed to to winning some of those close games, or even winning some games we thought they had no chance at. So it seems to be working for them. They ain't losing that trade at all.
Yeah. So, but people, they want that star power. New York, man, they just feel like they deserve a lot. They feel like they deserve a superstar, a stupid star. Yes,
that's the problem. They keep getting superstars, and they keep messing up these off-season trades and not giving people what they want. So,
gotcha. So, yeah. I forgot about that, but anyways, man, anything else y'all want to say about the East? I forgot about the East, man. You know,
Side note, Cavs number 10 in odds for winning the whole thing, above the Sacramento Kings.
Wow.
Just putting that out there.
No respect.
Told you, bro. No one respects the Kings.
Nothing. Like how we jump, we just fly past the Kings. I mean, they have a better record, but the East has been a little bit, top heavy.
Yeah, it's top heavy. So I don't. No one gives the Kings any respect. So I don't know, bro. Like that's really weird. They wasn't given number 3 spot, and it's been way more competitive from the West Conference than it was in the East. But it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, people like who they like. The fanfare, the buzz, star power, all that stuff factors into it. No one's getting behind De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis.
Harrison Barnes, baby. That's true. That's very true. There's no big star, right? Sabonis was an all-star. I think he, somebody got injured, so and so, such and such.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, at least you could look at Spider-Mitch and be like, oh yeah, that guy.
Exactly. He has his own shoe.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, man. Let's go ahead and close this up there. We close up shop, man. Kev, I'll start with you, Kev. What you got?
Man, I appreciate y'all rocking with us as usual. We know your time is valuable, so we appreciate when you spend it with us. I'm here caught up watching this Lakers play right now, and it's not looking great. It's not looking horrible either. So let's see what happens by the time this airing comes out. Maybe they're in there, maybe they're not. Whoever they play against is going to be trouble. So let me know who you're rooting for in the bottom seeds. Like who you think is going to make that upset with the top seeds in the West.
Reg, what you got, man, for your sign off, bro? What you
man.
got,
like, follow, subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know what your expectations are for these people coming out the East and West. What's your favorites? Who your underdogs? That's about it, man.
Cool.
Keep it short.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening to us, man. Let us know what your thoughts are on some of the topics. Who you think was gonna make it deep? Who's overlooked? Who's underrated? And who has the most pressure, man? Is it KD and the Suns, or LeBron and the Lakers, or if it's the Nuggets, or if it's your team, or if it's someone else's team, if it's the Dallas Cowboys? I don't know.
Grizzlies, this y'all, yeah, man.
Nah. Okay.
I'm saying, right?
Okay.
John 6. He said he's not worried about the West. So
he said he good. He said he good in the West, which I mean, at number 2, I guess he's good in the West right now. So
he under there. He under the West. He looking at the championship. Man. He's looking at finals.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's good to have good ambition. He's an ambitious character, so. But
where's your ambition? Where's your ambition for the team?
With my ambition, I mean,
you very taper down. Very taper down.
What do you mean? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do?
He already doing that. They had a good season talk. They had a hell of a year.
What do you want me to do, man? I don't know what you want me to do. Like,
right here, he have his out, man. He's like, man, you know what? Lakers are a pretty good team.
I mean,
the effort and the growth they put into this,
this is a successful season. I mean, I feel like we've grown, and improvements definitely. That's all I want to see. I just want to see the trend go up. That's it. And that's all. I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? So
when would that trend translate to wins? You know what I mean? Like you talked about with Embiid. You know what I mean? Where's it translating into dubs? You gotta do that, right? It has to do that, right? Don't change your story now. It has to do that, right?
I mean, yeah, but I'm also not sitting here saying that Ja is MVP. He should be MVP. I'm not saying that. I'm saying
you know what it is, Kev. If you think about it, the Grizzlies, they broke into number 2. They beat that number 3. If they got stuck at number 3, you would have had a whole other different viewpoint. because that's the problem with the 76ers. They can't get past number 3.
They can't. There's always 2 teams better than them in his own conference, in their own conference.
That's the criteria for grading.
They have 3 more wins than last year, so they improved.
Congratulations, you're still number 3.
I mean, you can't help how great the other teams play, but you can only do better on your side.
Yeah, you can only be as good as you are. Don't worry. Look, if you're not the best, you can be as good as you want to be. But if there's 2 teams better than you, 3 teams better than you, you're never going to win anything. So,
I mean, there's more than 3 teams better than Grizzlies, because the 76ers have a better record than the Grizzlies.
Congratulations.
The Bucks, a lot of
yeah, good for them. That's why
the Cavs. They're the same record as Cavs.
That's why I'm not talking about congratulations to the Grizzlies for getting an MVP. They should get an MVP. Only person who should be getting anything is freaking Jaren Jackson. But if he doesn't get it, he don't get it. So what?
Hey man.
Anything else y'all wanna throw out here towards me, man? Y'all just want me to go ahead and say, we're gonna gentlemen sweep everyone. We're gonna just take the championship. We're gonna go home and
off that top.
That's what I'm waiting to hear.
See, that's the
chest
thing.
out. You know what I mean? Say with your chest.
Why? But why can't I just be humble? I should just change my name. Instead of
walking in this humble Chris.
I like humble Chris.
Whatever he talking about. Let him know, man. We NBA playoff time right now. Yeah. Get live. Get hype.
Okay.
Looking at your team, man. I'll never put you in the stand. I don't want to stand full of a bunch of Christians. Maybe they're like, let's not wave the wand right now because we still down by 1. We still got 2 minutes. It's like, nah, cheer your ass off, man. Get up.
Hey, everyone else, you can do whatever. If you want to do that, go for it. But if you want to be, cool, calm, and collected like me, I'm okay with that too. However you want to celebrate your team. So
that's celebrating cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. All right. We know what part of this dude right here.
It sounds like you observing the team. You're not really celebrating. That's an outside observation.
I mean, what do you want me to? Okay, so you tell me how I should celebrate, and then I'll do that.
Do your thing.
Oh, okay. Now I do my thing.
We just gonna call it how we see it. Do your thing.
Okay. All right. So cool. All right. Well, I'm going to celebrate how I feel is acceptable, and I'm going to appreciate whatever successes that they have, along with any team. So I'm just a fan of
participation trophy activated.
So
one game in the first round, we good, man. We got it.
So it's just act like we've been there before. So like it's nothing. Act like you've been there before. So
smart.
Yeah.
I like the Pat Bev energy. They won the playing game, and you was out here ecstatic because the playoffs supposed to mean something. You out here like what?
We here like this is nothing new. We've been here before. So.
No, he's protecting himself, man. He
breaks up for impact.
So anyway, man, let me know what y'all think about. Am I not excited enough for my Grizzlies? You can throw that out there in the comments too, man. And if you like what you hear, tell a friend. We're here every Wednesday. So like, comment, subscribe on all the platforms and YouTube. That'll help us out. Follow us on social media so you can see what we're doing. Comment there if you like. And just get at us, man, and we'll be here. So like I said, we're here every Wednesday. So until next Wednesday, catch up with the deuces, guys. Out.